Podcast 150.
Ooh,
We did it. 150.
milestone, huh?
Yeah, pretty good milestone. Podcast 150, Moto Academy podcast, #1 podcast, in fact, in motocross. And a lot to talk about today because we just did a summer camp in Salt Lake City for an entire week. So we're going to talk all about that. And Dave Drakes was, in fact, there. He had a huge presence.
Finally.
Literally and figuratively. And
oh, no.
and we watched Ironman Outdoor yesterday. So I want to talk a little bit, actually maybe a good bit about that because first of all, that track looked awesome. Totally different than like the layout. They did a lot of layout changes and it looked really fun.
Yep.
The women, want to talk a lot about the girls.
Yep.
And yeah, a whole bunch of stuff. So what I'm thinking, Dave, you tell me, I kind of want to start with Ironman talk because our OGs are going to be listening to the end anyway. The people clicking in for a clickbaity title, you know, about the sport, maybe won't listen for
they
for
want
so
the
long. So let's start with that.
yeah. So I was gonna talk about track changes first. I was actually gonna text you yesterday and be like, dude, what are we thinking? So I wanna definitely hear your opinion, but I didn't mind it too bad when it came to the section that's more on the top of the valley. So like everything after that big table that we saw, going underneath the or like that bridge section, the whoop, stuff like that. I thought all of that looked really good. I almost like the section with the whoops a little bit better this way as opposed to the that right, then left, then a little bit of a sweeping, and then into the rollers. And it's like, okay, that's a little bit long in the tooth. But the way that they're able to jump into the rollers, I thought added another element of spectator wow, you know, and also kind of challenge the guys a little bit, but it also flowed better, in my opinion, if I'm being honest. The only thing I wish I saw, AJ, I missed the jumps, man. I missed the big Godzilla jump going like, you know, back towards the back of the track. And then the one that, you know, you hit that right hander and boop, you're up in the air forever again and down the hill.
So both of those were gone.
Yeah, I kind of miss them. Now, I'm saying that having like I ain't hit those things, but I almost miss seeing those because it added such a wow factor. And this is one track out of all of the tracks I think that I've probably ever seen on like, in any pro circuit throughout the years, you know, on this pro motocross circuit that reminds me of like an MX versus ATV track. This one, I'm like, man, these jumps are massive. The way that it flows, it almost plays like a video game track. And the other one that I would probably say is Troy, Ohio, that one that they got rid of like in the early 2000s.
Oh, where there's just creative different jumps everywhere.
Yes,
yeah, so
that one. Those are the only two I'd say. But yeah,
I'm curious to know.
Cool.
I'm curious to know who builds that track because the where they put some of the rollers is really creative. Now, either they just this could go one of two ways. Because sometimes people build tracks and have no idea what some riders might actually be able to jump. And then it ends up being fun because you can connect like jumping this roller all the way to this tabletop or this tabletop all the way to this roller or this roller all the way to this other roller.
Yeah.
Or somebody's being really strategic about where they're putting that stuff because by the time you watch Jett out there in that last moto, oh my God, there was so much stuff that he was able to jump like around corners and jumping all the way over from braking bumps over the rollers, from rollers over the braking bumps. It looked sick.
Yeah.
It looked like a track that I would have loved because another thing, and we could talk a little bit about this, it was a track where you didn't have to put your foot out in any corners.
Yes.
Because the ruts were so deep, there was only really one turn. It was the one where the Godzilla jump used to be. And if you took the far inside, because you needed that much lean angle in that tight little corner, that was one they were sitting a little earlier and you could put your foot out. Every other corner, you didn't need to put your foot out.
Yeah.
And those guys were doing a pretty good job of it.
Exactly. And, you know, you bring up a good point. I can't think of any corners that are like kind of slow. You know what I mean? Where a lot of people, especially when we saw it class, like if like the slower the speed of the corner, or you know, the smaller the radius, the more you're likely to put your foot out. There weren't really many slow turns. I think that's probably the only slow one, like you mentioned, like where that Godzilla jump used to be, where they were going somewhat slow. But even then, the middle rut and all the way towards the outside, you can rail those things. I like they really
Yep.
there's no slow corners. Like at apex speed comparatively, that track versus the other ones, guarantee you you're 2-3 miles an hour faster than any other,
And you had
any
good
other
slot
track.
car ruts all the way
Yes.
through. So what
Yes.
it
Yeah.
did is
Yep.
like for anybody watching that, if you applied our Moto Academy strategy of keep the feet on and stand until you're past the halfway point. Super easy to remember that. Stand until you're past the halfway mark and then don't even bother putting your feet out. Now go back and watch Ironman and watch the top guys and how they were doing that. I mean, when you watch Sexton and Jett, when you watched, you know who was really, really good at it in 250s actually was the Harup. Is that how you say it?
Oh, yeah, Mikal. Yeah,
He's super good at leaving
he's
his feet
good.
on. So shout out to him. He looks great. His technique's looking really good.
Mhm.
And it's just easier. It's easier, it's more consistent, it's more safe. And what you can't tell me if that's the way Jett is attacking the track, then you can't tell me that it's not the fastest option also.
Mm.
But it being the fastest option is usually the least of my concern. I want it to be safe and consistent and fun.
Mm.
And then it just so happens to also be the fastest way around. It was just making me happy as I was watching it.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like selfishly, the little part of my ego that's a part of watching that is like, for all the people I've been saying feet on and stand through the corners
Mhm.
for a long time now. And I
Mhm.
probably wasn't the first person to say it, although sort of. Everybody thought I was crazy. Most people still think it is a stupid thing to say. And yeah, watching a track like that, part of me wants to say I told you so.
Yeah, and honestly, that argument, like, yeah, I'm not perfect with the feet all the time. Did I make, especially people that see me right out here, dude, I make so many mistakes. It's not even funny. But there are instances where, like, just naturally you want to do that, especially if like the corner's just super choppy or bumpy, or you just want to put a little bit of extra weight towards the outside to get some more bite. Naturally, that's just kind of like what you end up doing anyway. You know what I mean? Like you just feel that's better, especially when you start practicing it more. Um, yeah, and when you threw in that safety factor, like it's safer. I'm like, yep, I want to keep my Achilles intact, dude. I just got a brand new one, so I don't want I don't want to get hurt. I'm doing feet on the pegs, but no, you're right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
this track was really allowed you to do that a lot more. That's an absolute good point.
so what was cool is that the technical guys kind of did rise to the top. So
Mhm.
another example of that would be Cody Schock. I consider Cody Schock
Mm.
to be a really highly technical rider, good
Yeah.
technique,
Yep.
and yeah, right up front.
Mm.
Able to stand deeper through the corners, tight footwork so his feet aren't getting ripped off the pegs. If you
Mhm.
had old school style sitting early on that track, you were gonna have a rough time.
Mm.
The ruts
Yeah.
are just too deep.
Yep.
Um, yeah, and I'd love to go back a little bit and maybe study some older footage from like the early 2000s. I just don't think I don't think the tracks really formed in that way quite as much. Is that true?
Uh
There must have been deep ruts all the way through. Like, what were
no,
they doing
no.
through them? Were their
They're
feet just getting snagged everywhere?
definitely at this particular track or just anywhere.
Just anywhere. Like, I'd
Oh
love to
no,
go
for
back and
sure,
watch
for
some
sure.
old footage of deep rutted tracks and just see what were those guys doing and how was it working. Because
Um,
watching the stand up all the way through, it's like,
mhm.
it's so simple. How were they not doing that all along?
I think
Maybe
one
they
of
were.
the like if I'm going back to like my Ryan Hughes skills tape, I think they did talk about standing pretty deep. I think he did talk about standing pretty deep, and this is like 125 days, like his Red Bull KTM 125 days, where they stood pretty
Okay.
deep, but I think it was all like sit down, foot up, and then get on the gas. So almost like kind of similar technique, but
Okay.
they were all about sit down, foot up, super high, and weight the outside peg kind of deal. But
Okay.
I don't want to say tracks form differently, but I don't remember them being as like crazy gnarly. You know what I mean? Because I feel like a 450 is going to tear up a track a lot more than a 252 stroke or a 125
Yeah, and I
two
don't think they
stroke.
were tilled quite as deep because I think with the
Yeah,
450s, the answer is till the track deep so the pace is slower,
slow them
right?
down.
So
Yeah.
naturally, you have a completely different, it's
Ooh,
just different.
that's a good point. Also, did you notice that this track was tilled a little bit deeper than some of the other ones? Did you have that kind of notion watching the 250s?
Yeah, but it looked sick. It's a perfect track to do it. Now, their practice or their time qualifying was probably a nightmare because of that. Because
Yeah.
I do remember that when they would till it deep in outdoors and you're trying to go out there and throw in a fast lap and it's just a sloppy mess.
Yeah.
is really a bummer. But
Mm.
that's what it requires for the track to be good in the afternoon. It was same for us at Jordan River in Salt Lake for our summer camp.
Mm-hmm.
On Friday, they watered until the deeper than they had all week. So the very first session that went out had just a sloppy mess to ride on. But you just have to be patient through that, because you got to know, okay, this track is perfect the very first time I touch it at 9 a.m. Well, it's going to be horrible in 2 hours. So
I was gonna say by noon,
if you
it's
want
gonna
that
be
track,
awful.
if you want that track to last a little longer, it's
Mhm.
got to be a bit sloppy in the morning. I want to go back, and it's easy, especially the lifestyle that I live, where I don't really watch much of anything.
Mhm.
It's easy to get stuck in a bit of an echo chamber. I want to go and refresh on like old races.
Mhm.
And also, if there was like any old instruction that did exist 10, 15, 20 years ago, I'd love to go back and listen to it just to see and have a complete open mind of, okay, what were they talking about? Are there,
Yeah.
because although Ryan Hughes seems to think that I stole everything from him, I have
Mhm.
like never watched any of so there's like VHS or DVDs or
Yeah, dude. Like
something I could get my hands on.
that's what made Ryan Hughes like one of my heroes, man. Was like this. He made a tape with Transworld called Skills, and then they had a Skills 2 later on, like a volume 2 with like Davey Millsaps and a few other
Oh,
guys. But Skills 1 was Ryan Hughes showing you all of the techniques and tips for like different tracks. Now, mind you, he was completely like at a like Cali tracks, and like we've never at that point, my dude, I was like, I am never gonna encounter that, but this is cool. Yeah, and he kind of went through like different variations of like different technique for this obstacle, that obstacle, this challenge, this kind of. And I think he even went into like a look like scratch the surface on mindset where it was like, hey, like think of big jumps as like I just have to do it one more time, just one more time. So like that's barely mindset stuff, but just like how to psych yourself up for jumps and stuff. But yeah, it was cool because that was kind of like the dope days of 125 class. Him, Grant Langston, Brett Metcalf, Braden Jessamine, Travis Preston, and James Stewart, you know. So it was kind of cool. But yeah, when
Stefan
I'll,
Roncada.
Stefan Ricotta. Dude. I'm gonna bring. Yeah, I want to come home next month. I'll bring that tape with me and I'll drop it off for you to
Yeah.
watch. Just remind me because you know I'm gonna forget. But yeah, it was cool. And I told you like a couple of weeks ago. I was watching.
Dave, hang on 1 second. I'm so
you're
sorry. I
good.
think
No, you're
somebody's
good.
knocking on the front door.
No,
One
you're good.
second.
You're good.
And this episode is sponsored by Drink LMNT. You can go to drinklmnt.com/AJCat330. And the offer they're doing now is they have 4 of their most popular flavors, and you get 2 of each of those 4 flavors. So go on there, use that link. Kept us alive during summer camp this week. Between the 250, 300 people total that were there, we had 120 students, at least double that, and people roaming around. We went through 2,000 individual packs of Element. So I think it kept everybody alive at summer camp. drinklmnt.com/AJCat330, and they support the channel big time. So make sure that you use that link.
I finally tried the lemonade. Finally tried lemonade.
What, Ian, thoughts?
Great, dude. Really,
Yeah.
really, really good. The only thing that I'm kind of bummed about was that I didn't kind of hoard more from the box. Dude, I got like
because there's only a handful of those.
There's only a handful, yeah. And then there were
They
people
disappeared
like
quick,
dude. And I'm like, man, the lemonade was so good. But yeah, it's just nice to have that little punch of electrolyte, man. And like you feel so much better having implemented that and supplemented that with all the other stuff we were drinking. Like it was nice. It was very, very nice.
Yeah. So, and we'll get into Salt Lake here in a minute for those of OG Moto Academy people that want to hear all about it. But Salt Lake City is at about close to a mile of elevation. So
Yeah.
that makes hydration even that much more important. Not
Yes.
to mention it was 97 degrees outside a couple of the days. Like it was, no joke.
And you're in the desert. So
yeah, I was hydrating like absolutely nobody's business.
Oh gosh.
Okay, so Iron Man, we talked about the track. It looked sick. It was one of those that I watched.
Awesome.
I'm like, I want to ride that. I would love to just flow around that track on a 450.
Yeah, but also like going back to that point of tilling deep, this is the first time I've ever seen a track tilled maybe so deep to where even Deegan and like the Star Yamaha guys, I'm like, are they going anywhere? Because normally, like those guys they can tractor through everything. It looks like they've got so much more pull and momentum than the other bikes. And like watching Deegan go down like that, the mechanics straight away after the finish, I'm like, man, even Deegan looks like he's like on it and trying to fly, and they're just going nowhere, man. They're just, like really, really spinning. And it was really evident with him racing Swole, trying to get around him. Like I could tell, I'm like, man, there must be something going on with that dirt, because like Swole was even like, come on, please, please, and like you could see Deegan wasn't catching him as fast as he thought he would, and even Moto, like those guys are almost like gonna paddle for a minute. It's like, geez, the boys are struggling with that dirt. But yeah, it's cool.
Especially on the start straight. But it was cool how they had that section prepped that way. So you go past the mechanics area and you turn right, and they would that corner, and then the start straight was getting a full till for each moto. So they were able to just kind of like create their own new line and flat track it almost,
and lean it over.
And then just absolutely pin it down that straightaway. That was actually a fun section to watch. It looked like a fun section to ride.
Oh, for
you
sure.
just kind of like eat into it and just steer with the rear all the way around.
Yeah, you don't have to touch much brake in the corner after. I mean, if you wanted to hit that inside, for sure, but you could almost drift that whole section up until like that either or, like that was a really that would have been you're right, it would have been a fun section to ride.
And that right left made for a couple of cool like passing racing opportunities. So it was Jett and Sexton in that first moto. Right, where Jett caught up, and then I was just like I was getting into it.
Yeah.
So Jett drives it in. I mean, what high level stuff there. So if you go back and watch Jett and Sexton, basically from, 2 corners before the finish line, all the way up over the finish line into the right-hander after the mechanics area and into the left-hander. The speed that they both charge and the commitment, I think that's the one thing you can really pull from that is, oh my God, these guys they want it. To ride at that level, they are crazy committed. The speed that they went into the corner at the mechanics area was nuts. And then Sexton still somehow, I think he surprised himself, still got the inside rut.
Yep.
And then, so that was impressive. And then for Jett to drive in that fast and then hit the inside and not lose any time. Then hit the outside and not lose any time on the outside while Sexton's on the inside. Like that level of commitment to drive around the outside was nuts. And then coming into the left-hander, the commitment again from both of them to just for Sexton to stay in it and for Jett to think that Sexton wasn't going to stay in it. And he just kept going. And then it just ends up where Jett's got his front tire on Sexton's back tire and he's starting to do that. Kind of that lean. That slow motion high side.
Yep.
Yeah. And then to save the high side, like as nicely as he did, the whole thing, I was like, wow, that was intense. And that was like very, very high level stuff going on there for a few seconds.
Yes. And this is probably, and AJ, please correct me if I'm wrong, this is one of the first times I've ever seen Sexton fight back against anybody. I don't ever remember Sexton wanting to get a position back or wanting to get a line back so badly. If throughout any point in his career, 250s or 450s, maybe on minis and or something. But like Manny even texted me, he was like, oh, it looks like Sexton figured out he's racing dirt bikes now. You know what I mean? Like it looks like he had like that fire in him again. And I as a Sexton fan, I was like, let's go, dude. That was really, really cool.
Stuart made a really good point too. And he said that a brief moment of aggression like that and just a brief moment of fight in you to hold off an attack from somebody like that can change the course of your race.
Yeah.
Right. So that's what Stuart said. And then sure enough, like that Sexton then, gets by whoever, Tomac and Hunter in front of him. And Sexton won the first moto, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Cause Hunter went 2-2.
Yep.
Sexton went 1 DNF. Yeah, so it changed the course of that race where had he let Jett by in that moment, at best, Sexton would have got second in that moto, but probably would have even got stuck behind Hunter. So probably would have got third or fourth. And Jett would have won the first moto.
Yeah.
Well, before he got docked a lap. Holy
Which
cow.
is so he didn't gain any position. Okay, sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself.
Okay, let's there's a lot. This is a really interesting one. So you want to give your opinion all the way through on it, or do you have an opinion one way or the other?
I think the penalty was what happened to him in itself. The fact that he like jumped the gate a little bit. I think he was trying to time it in his head, or somebody flinched and it kind of made him kind of go. But I don't think he gave advantage to somebody else, and I don't think he gave an advantage to himself. Clearly, by the outcome, we saw where he was by the end of the start straight, right? So to dock him a lap, I think is really foolish.
I think he let off. I think that he recognized what happened. He went, oops, that actually, I'm out in front of people here. And then he checked up for a second and then went. So learning lesson from Jett, if that were to ever happen again, which is unlikely. And Jett's done this a lot in the past. Just put your hand up. That, you know, if he had let off the way he did, so he hits the gate, which was kind of odd in itself. I wonder if he was actually trying to time it, because
exactly that's what I was thinking. Like either somebody flinched or he was timing.
So he hit the gate and then the gate flopped over frontwards, right? Isn't that what happened?
A little.
But by the time he kind of figured out what was happening, he was already riding over the gate, thinking that other gate was going to drop now at that point, right? So then he takes off and he goes, oh crap, nobody's here yet. I've just gone across the gate. I mean, barely, right? But he was in front of people. And then there was a moment of checkup. Now, whether that was intentional or not, obviously that would be the question. To me, it looked like it was intentional, because then he ends up in dead last, essentially. After that, had he just put his hand up quickly, maybe that would have been enough.
An acknowledgement.
Yeah, just whoops, go to the back for a second. Because the rule that is in place makes total sense. And how harsh it is, a lap penalty, because that's extremely harsh. Like that, you don't get that penalty for anything else.
Yeah.
Right? Makes sense, because if somebody were to intentionally jump the gate and use that as leverage to get an advantage, then yes, that penalty makes 100% sense.
1,000%. And I agree with you for sure. But I'm thinking, like, is the penalty needed because you already put the guy in a position that you kind of gave him at the end of the race, you know? Like he's already starting in like 38th, you know what I mean? Like that's almost like a penalty in itself. But I see it. If he had like an Alessi jump where dude is just like 15 bikes out front and is continue to racing, yeah, dude, freaking get that guy, get 2 laps even. But I think Jett, they should have probably been like, oh, like give him a fine or something, like a warning or something, you know, like give him the Barsha treatment, and like you could clearly see that it was a mistake. It was not intentional. And like either whether you say the checkup or I saw it as he hit the gate, clearly a mistake, and he tried to scoot himself back a little bit and then kind of hesitated as the real gate dropped, and he kind of even looked around a little bit. So to me, that was like a form of acknowledgement, or maybe I just saw it wrong in the replay or whatever. But yeah, I just feel like he didn't gain an advantage. Yeah, it was a wild deal.
Wild. Thank God he's got a big points lead, huh? Because that would have been, I mean,
anybody else besides Jett, coming through the pack like that would have been very difficult.
That would sting. Speaking of penalties, I forget who it was and in what moto it was that they kind of flew off the track and then had to pin it, and then they hopped back on. And Wygant said something about the AMA, we'll have to take a look at that. And Stewart goes, I'll handle that one for you. He's good. And he goes, J-Bone, he's good. Did you catch that?
No. What was that?
I thought that was so funny and kind of cool, because James probably does have that type of leverage to where they should be consulting James or somebody of that caliber to when it's a gray area thing like that. I can't remember. It was one of the second motos, and somebody bopped off to the left-hand side. Maybe it was in the roller section, and then had to they were just stayed on the gas and then got back on the track. And Wygant said, hey, maybe we'll kind of, take a look at that one. And James goes, J-Bone, I'll take care of this one for you guys. He's good.
That's kind of
just based on what he saw. And I was like, oh, well, that's funny. Like, is he the one that Albrecht is consulting with on making those calls? Because he probably should be in certain situations if they're ever confused.
Agree.
There's no better rider to ask than or there's no better person to ask than a high level rider.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Him
If
or
there is any
Ricky
gray area.
or
Right?
Chad. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Any one of the greats, I think that would be a great person. But this is complete tangent, but I can't think of a better team duo, mechanic rider, than like J Bone and Stu, or like maybe Gosler and Ricky. But what a good duo those guys were together, man.
Yeah. What
J
about
Bone.
Carlos and Dungy? There's been so many good
Carlos
ones.
and Dungy was good because
Yeah.
Carlos had that approach where like.
Or Christian and Jett. I mean, Christian and Jett is an amazing one too.
Yeah, yep. Carlos and
Yeah,
Dungy is a good
there's
one.
so many good ones, and mechanic rider relationship is completely critical
It really is.
because that
who's
is the
been your
person you're trusting with your life.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. Yeah, and that's that's the last person you see before you go to battle, and they're the ones in battle with you, and yeah,
Yeah.
it's crucial. Who's been your favorite mechanic over the years that you've had, or is there one that like stands up more than the others?
Well, two come to the very top of my list, and they're neck and neck because I love them both equally in different
Mm.
ways. Jeremiah and Mechanic Dan, and I trust very few people's mechanic skills to the level to where I don't have to think for a second when I get on that bike, that I don't have to pop open the gas tank and just double check for myself just to be safe. I don't have to check the chain and make sure the chain is to the tension that I know is safe. Usually 99.999% of the time when I hop on a bike and somebody else has looked at it, I go through my little checklist just in case.
Yep.
It is so nice and necessary when you're racing at the highest level to have a mechanic where you can hop on the bike and go. You don't have to think for a second. And Jeremiah was that. Mechanic Dan was that. Both of those guys also are really good examples of, maybe even Jeremiah more so. If something ever went wrong, and it could be the craziest, most out there thing to where you would think that nobody would be able to fix it or find the source of the problem, they always fixed it. And Jeremiah had some crazy examples of this. I remember Tommy Hahn, I think it was, Will Hahn's brother, right?
Yeah.
What hit me in Toronto Supercross, or I hit him in a heat race in the 450 class. This was in like 2016. Complete hole in the side of the case. Now we're in Toronto. We're by ourselves. There's no time before an LCQ to swap a motor or to do anything, but Jeremiah is able to find somebody that has JB Weld and then just JB welds this thing together. And same thing. He gives me the thumbs up, and I knew that Jeremiah would never, ever, ever let me on the track if he thought that the bike was going to be dangerous. So if he gave me the thumbs up and said it was good, then it was good. And he's like, yeah, saved us in so many crazy situations when it should have just been a no-show on the gate.
Yeah, Jeremiah is one where dude, I know if cause he's part of the family, right? So if I text Jeremiah like, hey man, like I got a quick question, I cannot figure this out, or hey, what's your advice? His advice is so sound, and he's gonna save me from like making a mistake or spending stupid money, which I appreciate that man for so much, man. Is like, if I text him like, hey man, what do you think about this? He's like, don't waste your money, do this instead, and don't be an idiot. I'm like, okay, that's the approach that I need. Thank you. Yeah, I completely agree. And Dan is he's a really solid dude, and both those guys' personalities, man, are a lot of fun to be around. So I'd see why they'd be really good, because they have that professionalism, that perfectionist in them, but they're also really pleasant to be around. They know when to bring levity, they know when to lock in, So
and
I
that's
could
an
see.
important factor, hugely important factor with the mechanic, is you have to be not like a psychiatrist necessarily, but you have to be ultra aware, because you can't, every rider's different. And so if you're a stupid unaware mechanic that's on the line yelling at your rider, you got this, like hitting them on the back. If you did that to me, I would be like, get out of
here. Yes, dude.
Some people get hyped up by that, but you've got to know, like Coach Ty would probably be one of those, right? You probably, Coach Ty crazy high energy. If he's on the
Air
line,
horn.
he's probably one.
Chainsaw.
Yeah, just punching him in the head. Yes. Now Ty would love that. Me? No way.
No way,
like,
dude.
Get out of here. Give me whisper in my ear or something.
Yeah.
Very delicate. Give me a slight tap on the back.
Yeah.
And then get out of there.
You know what I hated on the gate is when
it.
your buddies would come up and be like, "Come on, buddy, let's do." I'm like, dude, not now. Like when we're playing MX vs ATV, sure, not now, dude. Leave me. I can't. Dude, I was already so rattled. I'm like, I needed the calm. I needed like the shoulders. Like, buddy, we got this. Remember all your marks. Like, don't get in your head. Remember, I need that stuff. And which definitely didn't get from Tony.
Just coconut oil, just
coconut oil. I need just like a shaman in behind me with like little symbols. Just
tour manager Al just in the corner, just playing the handpan. Yeah.
Like, dude, Dave's start rituals are weird, but whatever. Man, yeah, that'd be it's hilarious. But yeah, it's
pre-mix Papa just sitting cross-legged, just doing a prayer.
One of these. Yeah, instead of having a freaking masked up bulletproof vest style security guard with a freaking shiesty on, Dave's got a guru, a shaman, a naturopath healer. Someone's doing incense around the bike.
Oh my god, he's getting acupuncture and just cupping at the same time.
Shout out Dr. Jett. Shout out.
Wow. That sounds like something I would do also.
Yeah, right? Oh, dude. Team Namaste over here.
So I just heard that, I almost said Tony Hawk. I just heard that Kelly Slater, remember, like basically the best surfer of all time?
Yeah.
He used to travel, apparently this is what somebody told me a couple days ago. He used to travel with a yogi. And I want that. I need a yogi by my side at all time. But as soon as he said that, I go, man, I want that. And I look to my left because this was at summer camp. And then Premix Papa kind of like struts on by. And I go, oh, I've got it. I've got it. I've just Premix Papa. Yeah, Premix Papa is it.
Yeah.
So everybody needs that one. Everybody needs a yogi nearby at 100%. All times.
Dude, how good was it to have Premix Papa there, man? Like, I didn't tell you this, but we showed up at the same time at the airport. And he texted me. He's like, hey, man, I just landed. I'm like, oh, my gosh, me too. I went looking for him, dude. And he gave me the biggest embrace and hug. And like, dude, he just
have you met him before in person?
Yeah. We've met a bunch at like the Supercrosses and stuff. But yeah, dude, just like the embrace and the hug and like the how are you? And buddy, I'm so happy to see you. Dude, I felt like I was like, Daddy. You know what I mean? I was like, Papa. Dude, it was so nice.
Yeah,
man.
He's got like dad energy in the best type of way.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's very, I mean, not to take away from, because Dave, you got a lot of positive reviews as well, but nobody was getting the type of feedback that Premix was. I mean, there's just something about, he's such an asset to those camps. He's the perfect person to have with, I don't want to go too deep into summer camp. Yeah. He's the perfect person to have with the beginner group.
Yes.
Because, oh man, it was just so much fun. Anyhow, back to Ironman.
Yeah.
A couple of things that stood out. I want to talk about the ladies here in a second. Deeg Daddy looked killer.
Yep.
Joshy looked pretty good. And what I thought was sick was I'm pretty sure Deegan didn't jump the finish line thing at all, pretty much in the motos, right?
I don't know why,
except for the finish line when the checker flag comes out and he rails the outside. And I'm like, oh, he's just going to jump it on the last lap just so he can just get a cool finish line picture or video. And sure enough, just rails the outside, just sends it straight up and down and just does a fist pump and lands so hard. I'm like, oh my God, that was so high risk.
Oh, dude.
Just to get the finish line shot.
My forearms would have been so pumped up, dude, that I would have been like, it would have been rev limiter the whole time on the podium. I'm like, yeah, you can't get me off this bike, dude. I'm sorry. You're going to have to cut the arm off. Like,
you would have looked like Sexton trying to go over the finish line jump when he tries to fist pump with both hands and almost crashes.
And just not let go. Dude, the whole time. Yeah, which is totally Dave Drake's thing to do, is something stupid when you're like winning a race. But yeah, dude, could you imagine sending like the most gnarliest jump of the track on the last lap for like your checkered flag celebration?
Yeah. Yeah, I can.
Oh
Because I used to
no.
do it back when I was on 65s and 85s.
Oh well,
Back when I
that's
had confidence.
well, yeah,
Yeah.
dude. When the races were 4 laps, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, on
Yeah.
like racing pros, dude. Oh, the last lap, dude, you're you're
I
dead,
know. Well,
dude.
and you could see it too, because when Jett and Hunter came off the track in
Hmm.
Moto 2,
Hmm.
Hunter on that podium and Jett like trying to get his gear off under the tent
Yeah.
afterward, that when those guys are looking like that, you know that must have been no joke hot. Yeah,
Mm,
no joke at all. I
yeah.
mean, because those guys train in the heat of the heat down in Florida.
Yeah.
And so for them to look that way when they pull off the track, I can't imagine what the 20th place privateer looked like when he got off. You know, those were
Oh,
the
dude.
moments of like Loretta's too, same thing. I remember when I was young, when you get off the track and you don't have that breeze anymore
Mm,
and you're just stripping your gear off, like you're a deep sea diver trying to get your stuff off to go get in the hyperbaric chamber, like
yeah.
just ripping stuff off as fast as you
Yeah.
can, feeling like
Yeah.
you're going to hyperventilate.
Ugh, yeah, miserable,
Yeah.
miserable. Is it a little bit different for tracks like Ironman and Buds too that are somewhat in a valley where you don't get that breeze normally throughout the track? Like I'm thinking of it contrasts to like a high point,
Yeah.
or something like
Yeah.
that, where like do
And
you
that's how Loretta's was too. You just feel like you're in the mucky,
yeah,
like you're just, yeah, humid valley. You
yeah.
feel like you're suffocating.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Is there
Yeah, that
how do you
Iron Man would be a good
simulate
example of that.
yeah, how do you simulate like those kind of conditions? Like would you say they're equivalent to what Jet and the Florida boys kind of train in? That like sort of domed atmosphere or like that bowled out atmosphere where it's just
Yeah,
so thick and stagnant.
yeah, yeah. I
Mm,
mean, where they are, if they're traded, oh, if they're trading in at the dog pound in the heat of the summer,
mhm,
holy cow, no thanks.
mm,
Yeah, yeah, no thanks. But it's hard to replicate the adrenaline spikes that you'd experience in a moto, like that 3 corner battle with Jet
mm,
and Chase,
mm,
right? That's super crazy high heart rate stuff, and
mhm.
it is definitely hard to replicate exactly that in a practice. It was cool how on the live stream they mentioned Jet's heart rate and talked about that a little bit.
Yeah, that was cool.
Be- because I was telling somebody I ran into a mountain bike guy that was just about to go do Leadville and lived in Park City and yeah, the whole thing. So rides dirt bikes, but kind of just casually, right? And is big into he's a cyclist. And we got into a conversation about dirt bike heart rates.
Mhm.
And when you say a heart rate that people can maintain for the whole time in a
Mhm.
moto race or supercross race, nobody believes that it's
Yeah.
even humanly possible.
Yep.
Yeah, the fact that you can maintain 190 to 195 for 35 minutes long,
Yep.
you can't, because you can't do that running or on a bicycle.
Yeah.
There's something to do with all the movements that are taking place, and also it's got to be the adrenaline
Mhm.
factor tossed in.
Mhm.
That the heart rates you can maintain on a dirt bike are higher than any other sport I've ever seen by a lot.
Oh, exactly.
Because
And
you couldn't do it in soccer, you couldn't do it in
no,
those other sports.
exactly.
You'd have a heart attack.
You say zone 4 to people, and that's almost like the electric chair. They don't want to talk about that kind of stuff, right? Because it's like it's so dangerous for us. We're like, yeah, dude, I was zone 4 the whole time. Yeah, dude, I was zone 4
Yeah,
putting
on
my
the
boots
starting gate.
on, dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like I was nervous the whole time, you know? So like, yeah, we don't shy away from that stuff, man. Like, yeah, every other sport, talking to Tony and stuff, and just talking to him about different heart rates. And that we just watched the tour. The tour just ended. We were watching the tour and just seeing how those guys have to manage. You know, they're trying to stay zone 2, you know, high zone 2, low zone 3, like, you know, and that's
Do
like
they show their heart rates on TV for that or no?
I don't
Or is
I
that
th I
secret
think
like
on
to
like
them?
the app and or something like that, but for the most part, it's kind of like common knowledge. You can kind of see, you know, or even like talking to Bryce, dude, like just those kind of conversations with those kind of people, like, and you start understanding, like, oh, motocross is different, man. Like we are a different breed of people that can maintain that wild like heart rate that people would just be completely in awe to hear about, while also like trying to ride a dirt bike at speed with skill with 40 other people who want to take our lunch, and knock us off our bikes on a track that's always changing on a super hot day and all this gear. Like so much is happening, man. It is there really is no comparison.
I'd be curious to know heart rates of UFC fighters
Mm,
doing what they're doing, because that seems like the same type of factor where you've got the adrenaline and kind of fearing for your life going on,
yeah.
right? While trying to do all the movements in something that is already physically exhausting.
Mm,
So yeah, there's got to be some other sports out there that have that same element, but none that I've seen proof of. Um, but that would be one that comes to mind that has that same real danger element. Because the real
yeah.
danger element, I think, is what takes that heart
Spikes
rate to
it.
the next level. Because it's not that I'm a
Yeah.
superhuman athlete,
Hmm.
not at least as I sit right now,
Hmm.
but I can still go out there on a dirt bike and ride for probably 15 minutes right now at a stupidly high heart rate, much, much, much higher than if you put me for a VO2 max test on a bicycle. I would get to 165 right now and I'd be huffing and puffing and want to
Yeah.
fall off the thing. But you could get me 30 beats higher on a dirt bike,
Yeah,
which is
I
interesting.
definitely feel that. Did you notice also with the first night we were in Salt Lake, we walked down to that like Mexican spot, and I'm not in prime shape, but like, dude, I've been like doing some stuff, getting myself back in gear. We're dropping weight, stuff like that. I walked 4 steps, dude, and I was like, I was like, dude, I know I'm not this out of shape, dude. Come on now. Like going down those steps, dude, and coming back up. Me, Ezra, and Alex, we were like, come, we looked like we were climbing Everest. Dude, we were like, come on, just a little further, 2 more steps. I can see the
The
house.
elevation,
Oh,
no joke. Yeah, no joke. Stairs at imagine doing Everest when you're at whatever the heck, 15,000 plus feet. I'm just guessing. It's got to be way more than that even. Of elevation, just laboring for each step because yeah, there was a lot of steps going from our Airbnb to that main street. There was
mhm.
probably 200 of them. But being at elevation ruins you so
Mm,
fast. Oh, so
mm.
fast. Um, Back to Ironman. 450. Shout out Hunter. Pretty cool.
Awesome to see
Gets the
that. Yeah.
overall. Didn't even smile.
Yep.
Just no fist pump. No nothing.
He's
Just
getting
just did it.
so good, man. I think people don't see it
Yeah,
because they're
making
comparing it to
aggressive
Jet.
passes on Tomac.
Yeah, dude. I think Hunter is like low key, but also in our faces, starting to become in the conversation. Cause I think early on it was what 1A, 1B, 1C, Jet, Sexton, Tomac, right? Hunter was like, two in the same conversation with like a Anderson or like somebody else, right? Like a Roxon, and even Roxon was kicking butt. But like they didn't really see him as a big vicious contender. I think we're starting to see the rise of Hunter to where he's going to start like showing you guys like, listen, I am just as capable of winning as Jet, just as capable of winning as Sexton or any one of these other guys. You're going to start seeing a different version of him come this next Supercross season.
He's no joke.
Yeah.
He's no joke. Hunter
Yep.
embraces probably even better than Jet does that growth mindset.
Yeah.
And what was cool on the TV is I think that Jason Thomas briefly mentioned it, right?
Hmm.
He was talked quickly about just being process oriented and how Hunter you can't pull him out of that. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
there's nothing you can do to get Hunter on the emotional roller coaster, good or
Yeah.
bad,
Hmm.
right? He's like the Chinese farmer.
Yeah.
Yep.
Dude,
This good or
have
bad? I don't,
never heard that
I'm
reference,
not.
but all right.
What? Have you never heard the Chinese farmer story? You want to
No.
hear it, Dave? You want to hear me botch it?
Jeez.
Okay, here we go. Let's see if I can do it. Okay, so Dave, there was a Chinese farmer. He lived with his son and they had a horse that they were taking care of. And one day the horse ran away. And all of his neighbors came to him and said, "Oh, I'm so sorry. How unfortunate that your horse ran away." The Chinese farmer
Oh,
said,
so,
"Good,
yeah,
bad,
we'll
I
see.
don't know. Yeah, we'll
Yes.
see."
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
And then the horse ends up coming back the next day and bringing you have 5 other horses with it, and the town all comes over and says, "Oh my gosh, how amazing! You're rich. You have all these horses now. Good, bad, we'll see." And then his son ends up getting hurt on one of the new horses that comes the next day and breaks his leg. And the whole town comes over. "Oh, I'm so sorry to hear about your son. How horrible, how bad that is." "Oh, good, bad, we'll see." The next day, the army comes and are recruiting all of the children to go fight in the army. And they get to his house, but realize the son has a broken leg, so they leave him behind. And the whole town comes over. "Oh my gosh, how amazing. He doesn't have to." And the Chinese farmer goes, "Good, bad, we'll see." It's just a story of being process oriented and not judging things as they come, or as good or bad, because who are you to say if something is good or bad? It just is because it is.
Yep.
And it's a hard way it's a simple and concept way to think, but it's very difficult to embrace that way of living. And when you become that type of person, you're unstoppable because nobody can get in your head. A bad result doesn't affect you. You just learn from it and keep going. And that's what growth mindset is in a nutshell. So yeah, Hunter, you're seeing it. It might feel like a slow progression, even though relatively speaking, it's not slow, but yeah, he's just going to keep getting better and better and better.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Looked good. Looked solid. Looked aggressive. Made that pass on Tomac that was pretty aggressive, which was sick. Tomac looked not good.
Yeah. What's your take on things? Is he?
I don't know. It's like his technique has gotten worse almost. Watching him ride, something just didn't look right. He looked like he had a fight in him for the first few laps, right? But it looked very forced. And his technique didn't look great in the bike. It looked like he couldn't get the thing to lean over.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, I'm like, is it a fitness thing? Is he getting gassed out because he's like, overtraining? And we talk about Epstein-Barr a lot in this sport. Like, is it something like that? Is it he's, I don't know. Are all these years of racing catching up to him a little bit? But yeah, I don't see that same like bulldog like fervor, especially in this last one, man, where it almost looked like I saw like more like rounded back and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, come on, like what's going on? Is it posture problems? Your back hurting? Like what's the deal?
Yeah, he needs that shaman with him on the line, giving him that coconut oil massage. Just got to loosen up a little bit more, I think. Yep. Then we had the ladies out there, which was super cool and really interesting.
Yes.
Now, I'm just going to give some opinions here. I might hurt some feelings, but oh well. Because I was looking at a few different things. One, I was looking at physicality. I was watching the girls and thinking, okay, which girl physically stands a chance here? If we're talking about riding Supercross, that's kind of like where my head was going. Kylie Stallings, too small.
You think
too small? Yeah, too small. I mean, too short and too light. She looks like a 13-year-old that just hopped onto a big bike. Can you go fast? Yes. Can you race at a high level in Supercross at that height and weight? Maybe at that height, but not at that weight. She'd have to gain. Where do you think she looks too tiny? She looks like she's 112 pounds.
Where do you think that'd give her like the most trouble with like the weight? Like where does that come into play for a lot of us that like may not have a one-to-one understanding?
Well, just all of it. So if you're talking outdoors, just being able to actually charge the track a little bit more aggressive and not have that bike ride you. And Supercross, casing jumps and being able to hold on. Watching Michaela Nielsen case that jump on the last lap and not be able to hold on. She looked taller and much stronger than Kylie Stallings did, but still wasn't able to hold on to what seemed like a pretty simple landing. Now, granted, who knows how deep the ruts were in that situation? You couldn't really get that perspective. Also, they should have been jumping that in the first place. So let's keep with physicality because I'm going to talk about a few different topics. Yeah, Kylie Stallings would have to put on weight, I think, to be more competitive. I know from firsthand experience, putting on weight for somebody that is a light, skinny person is very, very, very difficult. But it would help her a ton. She just looked too tiny. The the Cannon, was there somebody named Cannon out
Charlie, yeah, Charlie Cannon.
Yeah, is she Australian?
Yeah.
Okay. Now she looked strong.
Mm-hmm.
She looked pretty tall, and she looked pretty strong, tall and strong enough to, I think, race against the guys in Supercross.
Mm-hmm.
What's the fastest one? Who was the best out of them on the Yamaha? Who was that?
Lachlan Turner.
And what do they call her?
Lala.
Lala.
Yeah.
So Lala Turner, probably best all around package. Now she was a little bit shorter than Cannon, which I think hurts her a bit.
Mm-hmm.
But she looked fit. Maybe she could still gain a few more pounds, but she did look strong. She looked strong on the bike. And she probably, I would argue, had maybe the best technique out of all of the girls. She had probably the strongest hip position, although she did still tend to roll her back a little bit.
I wouldn't say her core, like her, hips and core. You could tell she's engaged the whole time, man. She's really
she had good hips. Don't cancel me. Just saying. She had good strong hips, and they stayed in position. A lot of the girls, I think you could tell they lose confidence quick, and so when they get scared, they go into that hunchback. Yep, and that happens quickly. So she probably looked the strongest physically out of them. And who were our other heavy hitters up front? Those were kind of our top four, weren't they? Kylie, Lala, Michaela, and who the heck else? The Charlie Cannon. Charlie Cannon, is that the name?
Mm-hmm.
I'd never heard that name before.
She rips, dude.
So I would say
she's solid.
Yeah, she was aggressive, kind of pounding through the bumps, like looked strong. I think physicality wise, I think the one that would just have to put on the weight, like I talked about, would be Kylie. Now, technique wise, I do also think that they all need some more guidance on technique. Lala was the closest, but still needed more guidance on technique. Michaela Nielsen probably was number 2. Charlie was probably number 3, and Kylie was probably number 4 in order of best technique to worst out of those top 4. Again, this is me being super, super blunt, but I'm open-minded. You can change my mind in 2 seconds. And also, I do think this is valuable information if any of these girls do hear this. If you are a little bit weak, so if you're 120 pounds instead of 130 or 130 instead of 140, technique is absolutely critical. It is always critical, but especially if you're a bit light on that bike. So if those girls are anything under 140 pounds, you've got to have absolutely perfect technique, because perfect weight for a 250F is probably 140 to 155. If you're 120 to 130, which
ride one of those.
If you're 120 to 130, it's too late. Dave, if you're inching closer to maybe the 200 plus club, what do you weigh? 190, 200? What do you weigh?
Like 225.
Yeah, so 250 is not going to like you very much either.
No, I scream them though. I have to. First gear starts and everything else. I saw a picture that, like, I think it was me and you, our first year in B class, and I'm like, I look like a different human being, dude. Like I was so skinny and short, and like my hair was different, and I'm like, I don't look the same. Do I look the same as I did when I was a kid to you?
Yeah, I mean, no, I see what you mean. By looking at those pictures, you look,
like a completely different human. Yeah, because you look different to me, like completely like different, you know. Yeah. But I was like, I don't think I look that different. But yeah, completely different story. Sorry,
you go back and look and you're like, oh man.
Yeah, 250 B class days.
Yeah. And what was the other thing with the girls? Oh, the other thing with the girls was, so you got the technique factor, but then just kind of bike skill. Yeah. So I watched them not do a couple of the jumps, like that one kind of around the bend there that they not jump into that roller. They all should have been doing that. Yeah. Like there's no reason why they shouldn't be doing all of those obstacles, no problem. They were about where I expected them to be, maybe a little bit better than what I expected them to be. Because I think one of the races got televised earlier this year, but I didn't watch it.
Lakewood?
So this was fun to watch because I was watching with a really critical eye in the sense of like, okay, how far along are we on our progress? What do they need to work on? I think in a beautiful spot because the girls are just getting better. And I compare that to watching like the Fiolic days of watching those girls at amateur nationals. They're definitely a lot further along than those girls were, technique wise and all of it. Because if you were to cut their hair and not say it was a girls' race, it would be much harder to tell that was a girls' race. Much harder to tell, right? But you could still tell it was a girls' race. Like if you had a good eye for it, you could still tell it was a girls' race. And I think that with the right height, now if you're 5'1", you're at a disadvantage. I'm sorry, you're at a disadvantage. Even if you're 5'3", I feel like you're at a disadvantage. Now, if you're 5'6", 5'8", 5'10", and you're a girl, and you can get up to 140, 150, I don't think you're gonna be at much of a disadvantage at all. Will you still be less strong than a guy that is 5'10", and 150 pounds, like a really athletic guy? Yes, just genetically speaking, yes, but I don't think it's a one-to-one comparison, because you look at a lot of the guys in Moto and they don't have the ideal physiques either. Right? Most of them are just like Swole would be a good example. I look at him on the bike; he just looks like tiny and skinny. Is that right? Is he? Is he short?
Shorter and kind of like average. I wouldn't say he's like jacked or like super like super sinewy or super vascular or anything like that. But
now you can make the argument that he falls a lot, and yes, he does. He fell again this weekend, didn't he? Speaking of more people so anyways, girls, good job. That was fun to watch.
Love
a lot to improve upon, but one thing at a time, and they're all getting there.
Exactly. And we're televised, dude. They televised it. I'm pretty stoked about that. Shout out to our girl Jordan Jarvis and Jamie Osadio, and Jordan's nursing a back injury, so she'll be in the fight when she heals up and stuff. But I like your observations too, kind of keeping it blunt and stuff. And I will say, dude,
Jamie looked good too because they showed her on TV as well. Jamie looked, like an appropriate height. She didn't look oddly short. She looked like a good weight on the bike. So physicality, I'd rank her pretty high. And technique, I would rank her pretty high as well. She just seemed kind of smooth and doing her thing. Now, again, I feel like when I watch, it just looks like that they could attack the track a little bit more and do some more of the jumps and kind of just go faster and do it safely without having to ride on the edge. Also, I think there is a factor. Those races are too short. So I think it just creates a bit of frantic behavior for them in the first couple of laps because they feel so rushed. And maybe that frantic energy just leads to some of those silly mistakes like Michaela crashing and that kind of weird jump or whatever it is. I think that adds a danger factor that doesn't have to be there by shortening those motos that short. The longer motos, you can't go out there like a crazy person. You got to hold on to the thing for 30 minutes.
Yeah. No, for sure.
So you can settle into a pace. But
I'm stoked. I'm stoked that we saw that. I will say, AJ, I've seen Kylie rip. I know she's smaller. I know she's lighter. I think she would figure out how to get the job done. She's quite.
Well, I believe it too because she specifically told me on live stream that she believes that she could compete with the guys. So if she's telling me that and she believes it, I believe her too. Just like when we talked about little girl there that just won Loretta's. What's her name?
Racing.
Kyler. Yeah. When she made the video and she says that she believes that she will be the era. If she believes it, yep, I believe you too. So the belief is a huge factor. So physicality is only one of the many variables.
One piece to the puzzle. Yep.
Don't feel like talking about Ironman anymore, to be honest. Anything you wanted to add to that?
Dirt bikes or dirt bike racing.
Dirt bike racing.
Dirt bike racing.
Speaking of dirt bikes, we've just wrapped up our third summer camp of this year, Salt Lake City. Oh, Moto Academy people, if you were there, thank you.
Thank you.
Because these are so rewarding to me. They're the most rewarding thing that we do as a business. And by the way, we do a lot of rewarding things, but the summer camp and seeing you guys day after day for 5 days straight is it's really special. Seeing in this camp, there was a couple of specific characters that came into the week very hesitant, not even wanting to sign up. We had Phoebe, that was a sister of a brother. She had a brother that was already signed up.
Yep.
And she didn't want to do it. She didn't want to.
She was
do
nervous.
So
she was apprehensive, and I know where you're going with this one. You could not wipe the smile off her face from days like 3, 4, and 5.
Oh, well, even after just day one.
Yeah.
I mean, so she didn't want to do it. And then, after even just day one, you could see she's like, oh, okay, this is, I like it. I like it. But by the end of the week, oh, yeah, you would have never been able to pick that girl out of the lineup and say she was the one who showed up on Monday not wanting to do this because she was a nervous wreck.
Exactly.
And that's what the camps are all about, is cultivating that belief and that confidence in yourself, whether you're in the red group and you're one of the fast guys and you just want to be able to get to that next level, or if you're in the gray group, which were our green groups in Winchester, so our beginner guys, and you're just nervous about riding the track for the first time. Man, it's so good. So I'll kind of run through, I guess, the structure quickly, so everybody's kind of cued in on what the format looked like. So this camp was in Salt Lake City at a track called Jordan River State Park. Yes, it's a state park. It's
crazy.
State owned and operated. They pay a salary to Randall, who is the track owner, who is an amazing person. And I love Randall.
It's funny too. Like low key funny guy.
Yeah. Oh,
he's cracking jokes with us and like,
he's just
he's
awesome.
a cool guy.
He just liked being a part. He just liked being a part of it. You could tell he's just passionate about every inch of it, which is what you need. That's what you need, because this it's a passion project. You got to be out there grinding to keep that track as good as he does, especially in a climate like Salt Lake City in the middle of the summer in August. Right. And you had Rodrigo, who is his left-hand man, which I think is now, he's hired by the state as well to be maintaining that track. And Rodrigo was awesome. Again, crazy passionate, and so excited too when he would get compliments on the track, and just hearing riders say that the track was good. You could tell that they really they wore their heart on their sleeve when it came to wanting people to enjoy themselves, which me too.
Yep.
And what's cool about it being a state park is that they actually have good funding to be able to have nice equipment, the brand new water trucks, brand new dozers. I mean, like a track owner's dream for the equipment that they have availability to. They get access to unlimited water, I'm pretty sure, from the Jordan River, so they don't have a water shortage. They have beautiful fencing. I mean, it's just like the bathrooms were super nice with the AC going. I mean, the facility itself, and it's 5 minutes from Salt Lake City Airport.
That is
less than 10 minutes from downtown Salt Lake City, and it's 35 minutes from Park City. Like, it's crazy cool and convenient location. Mountains in the backdrop, which, by the way, if Dave, you were to go there in June or even July, those mountains all have snow on them, so the backdrop looks even way nicer. But because we were that deep into the summer, the snow had all finally melted on top of the mountains. So crazy cool location. This is our biggest summer camp yet. They keep getting bigger. This is our biggest one yet. Winchester, round 2, we had 100 riders, which was our biggest one. Salt Lake City, we had over 120. I think we had right at about 125. I know that sounds like a lot of riders, right? And maybe people hearing that are like, ooh, I don't know if I want to go to something with that many people. But the way that we structure this, it is killer. I believe that we already have it down to a science. So we have our 4 head coaches. So I'm a head coach. We've got Coach Mitchell, Coach Ty, and Coach Alessandro. We flew in Alessandro all the way from Italy. So our 4 head coaches, and we just spread and have our stations set up on the track. So we basically have the main track split into 2 halves. We keep it that way for the entire week. And then we had a kids track that turned into basically like a skills station, which was really fun. And then we had a turn track that Randall cut into the backfield, which was epic. I mean, it just felt like you were kind of going for an off-road loop, but it was just a rough, bumpy turn track. And that was the station. Then So riders would rotate between those 4 stations, which keeps it fun. I feel like it's like when you're in school and, just as you're starting to kind of get over your teacher or listening to one person, you're getting a little bit bored. Not that was
Oop.
happening,
Yeah.
but boom, you're going to the next
Exactly.
station. Yeah. And I think that that's helpful in a moto scenario because it's easy to get frustrated with
Yes.
what you're doing,
Yep.
right? So if you're going to a corner and you're working this corner and you're just having a rough go, it's hard to mentally focus on something you're struggling with that much for 3 hours straight. But when you're just there for 50 minutes, you can hunker down, you can learn your lessons, you can be a little bit frustrated if you get frustrated, and then boom, you're going to another section. And maybe the next section is like you're doing wheelie drills and it's like that's right up your alley, right?
Yeah.
So then you kind of get a little second wind of confidence and a little reset.
For sure.
Then we had 4 assistant coaches. So shout out Dave Drakes. We had Coach Dave, we had Coach Premix Papa,
Shout out.
we had Coach Austin, and we had Coach Ezra. And you guys were essentially like camp counselors that stuck with your group color and stayed with them for the entire week, which Jackson had this idea before. This is the first time we've done it that way, and we'll continue to do it that way because, I just think you were able to create rapport with your 30 riders and really get to know them. And I think for the riders, it gives them confidence in that they have one person that they can go to all the time.
Oh, for sure.
If they get lost, if they don't know where to go, if they don't know what to do,
questions or
really like that.
If they're afraid to speak up or something. Yeah. And that part I really like. So shout out to Jackson for that idea. Cause you're absolutely right. It did all of that. It helped us build rapport, and we could almost like be an advocate for them too. If like, we're seeing the guys are getting a little tired or something, or, they're struggling with something. Hey coach, could you repeat that? Cause like, we either can't hear it back here or we're kind of confused. So stuff like that, I think give Jackson a lot of credit, man. Cause that was a really cool additional aspect, which I wasn't even aware of until a day of. And I was like, this is kind of rad. And the fact that we had the stations, a lot of them, AJ, kind of played off of each other. So what you would learn with Coach Ty, you could apply that like that, the big thing I took away was eyes up. Well, that's going to be great for Mitchell's drill where I have this rutted corner that I'm not really sure the best way to get through it, and it's got a hook in it. The eyes up is going to play into that. Well, now I know how to weight the outside peg with my eyes up. Oop, now I've got a skills drill with AJ where I got to, we're trying to drift around this one corner or something or whatever. And then, hey, that's going to apply to Coach Alessandro's deal. So it's almost like you're building the pillars to be like a really effective rider throughout each individual day. And the fact that it is always changing kind of throws a little bit of a like a challenge in there for you too that keeps it interesting. And it was a really cool, exciting structure. And I think a lot of people enjoyed the station work, man. I mean, the head coaches were firing on all cylinders, man. Really, really
you were with
stuff.
Orange Group, right? So
Orange
you
Group,
had
the best group.
The best group.
The best group.
So the way we did it was red was the fast guys. Our red group this time around was pretty quick. Orange was, some of our fast-ish big bikes, doing maybe half the jumps in the track, maybe doing all the jumps, but just a little bit slower. Some of our decent speed 65s and 85 guys. So you had a good mix. You had a good mix in your group. And I do feel like it flowed flawlessly because you could kind of be the voice for the riders a little bit as well. If you had a shy person that didn't want to ask that question, or you were doing a good job throughout the week of just asking the questions that I knew everybody else was wondering, and being able to probe for good conversation. And these things are not easy to operate. 5 days straight to do it in a way that feels organized. When you're talking about organizing a bunch of dirt bikes, not simple. And when you're talking about organizing a bunch of dirt bikes that are ages 6 to 70, I think our oldest rider this week, as far as I know, was 65 years old. So this week specifically, we had 6 to 65 and everything in between. Not easy. There are so many things that we're doing an amazing job of it already, but there's so many little details I learned to be able to level it up even a little bit more for the next time. Like the big lesson I think this week was I want to shorten the day by 1 hour. And I think that that would be appropriate to get everybody out of there 1 hour earlier, because by the time you do the film studies at the end of the day, and by the time you do the mindset session at the end of the day, it was 6:30. It's too late. It's just too late. Yeah. So I don't think it would do there. It would only be positive for us to cut that day shorter by 1 hour.
Yeah.
There's a couple of other things I learned, but yeah, this week, I know this was your first one ever, but for me, I was so proud because it was the best one yet as far as almost complete autonomy from every Moto Academy member. We're starting to get it down to a science. There's starting to be these systems in place to where people don't have to go, hey, AJ, what do I do? You know, the purposeful practice motos to where the checkered flag's being thrown at the right time. There's another coach out there sending the riders out, not having to go find people to do that. The film study sessions and doing those exactly on time. That's another thing that's hard to do, is when you have a schedule, to stick to it.
It's hard.
To the minute. And we did. I mean, very few. I was only on day one. The check-in took a little longer, right? And so we had the bump riders meeting by that 30 minutes. After that, the entire week stuck to that schedule to the minute.
Yeah. And I'd say that's a pretty good problem to have on a Monday. We've got so many people who want to be here. It's taken us a long time to get them checked in. I'll take those problems. That's a good problem.
Yeah. And well, also the source of that problem too wasn't even necessarily the amount of people. It was that we had the transponder station taking a while and creating the bottleneck. So, and we were able to locate the source of the bottleneck, and expedite the check-in process. Like, yeah. And I know that that might be the boring conversation for people because it's the business side of things, but that's what I spend. I have a weird position on those camp days because I'm like the principal, but also teaching class at the same time. So I've got to be in charge of the whole operation and thinking really big picture and looking at everybody's role and absolutely everything, the merch station, thinking about what texts are being sent out to the students throughout the week for their text updates and making sure that those are as efficient and prioritized as they can be. I'm trying to plan for what my mindset conversations are each night. So from 6 to 6:30 p.m., I would tie in. Every day had a riding theme and every day had a mindset theme.
Yeah.
Which I think is a really cool way of doing it because it can anchor intention for people, because otherwise it can feel very easily, it can feel overwhelming. But when you create an intention on the bike, so like we've got a jump day dedicated to the jumps. We've got a corner day dedicated to the corners. When we've got a mindset theme, like one of the day's themes, for example, was gratitude, right? And we're reminding riders from the riders meeting in the morning, throughout the day, and then at the mindset conversation at night, bringing up the themes of gratitude. And okay, what are you grateful for today? What are you grateful for right now in this moment? It just helps anchor people's focus.
Yeah.
And when you can anchor your focus on that one thing, you don't get nervous because you're not worried about all the things that you can't control in your external environment.
Yes.
And you don't get anxious because you're not time traveling to the future. You don't get stressed out because you're not time traveling to the past. You're just worried about this intention, doing this one thing in this moment. Right. And what we're going to definitely do, we did this at Winchester, and I had lost these for like 2 years, but I just found them. We had a bunch of stickers done up to look like duct tape.
Yeah.
And we had all of the themes pre-printed on these stickers on the duct tape to look like it was permanent marker to give them their mantras, their things to remember, and put it on their crossbar pads.
That's awesome. I saw a couple
this
kids
week
had
we
that.
got a roll of duct tape.
Yeah.
And we had a marker,
which is fun.
I think what I'm going to start to do is provide those stickers. Yeah.
We had a good time with it. You know, we got a chance to prank AJ with one, so it was fun. But no, you know what's cool? Like this being my first, like, because I've been to classes, right? I've been to a bunch of classes over the years. And this summer camp, it was the first time that I've ever got to see like so many young kids, especially in my group, that were asking such good questions, man. That were like, because typically in a day, you know, a lot's happening, and maybe, you know, you don't have a chance to really feel as comfortable as you probably would in like a 3-day or 4-day or, you know, or the 5-day. Some people are just kind of in and out kind of deal, but which is they still get a ton out of it. But the camps, you could see that like day one, day two, people are kind of feeling it out. They're enjoying themselves. They're feeling like, hey, I didn't think it would be this cool, and this is great. They're kind of trying to take it all in. But like towards like the end of the second day and third and fourth and fifth, man, some of these kids were asking such phenomenal questions and taking to heart what you were saying. Like literally, I saw some 85 riders, which you never see, with their crossbar pad, the sticker with like the writing on it, elbows and eyes. And they're like, hey, Coach Dave, like when Coach AJ said this about like, proper positioning, like where should I lock should my hips ever be locked, or how much core am I using? I'm like, this is an amazing question, man. Like you're really thinking these things through and trying to see how can I apply this to be a better rider. And again, you don't see that in young racers. You don't see that inquisitive deep dive into some of these fundamentals that you're teaching or the techniques that you're teaching. And I thought that was really cool, man, because like not many coaches could bring that out of their students. And I'm thinking of like 129 on the that white 85. Like, dude, the question this kid was asking, I was like, man, like you might be a next Coach AJ, dude. Like this is really awesome. And little Charlie on the Huskies asking amazing questions, and Ireland's dad, like these people were really getting into it, man. And I give you so much credit, you and the other coaches, for um, just giving the information out in the right way, but also encouraging the kids to think further and to ask the question and see how they can apply it the best, man. I did not know that was going to be a thing, man. I was very blown away, very, very pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, I love seeing that. And it's bringing critical thinking to dirt bikes. What I loved is when I would do the film studies and the mindset stuff each night, and the little kids had their notebooks out and their pens. So when riders check in, they get their little goodie bag with all the stuff in there. And yeah, one of the things is you get a notebook and you get your pen so you can take your notes, set your goals, journal throughout the week. We're just about to publish Moto Academy Gratitude Journal. So for the next camp, which takes place, I think we've got one in January, but I think we're going to schedule one end of December. We'll have gratitude journals ready for then, which will be cool. Take it to the next level. But watching the little kids sitting there jotting down notes, I'm like, man, this is what it's all about. Yeah, because so you could tell they were really, really into it. One of the parents gave me a compliment, and I loved the way that he described it, because this is what I try and strive for. He goes, this is the most holistic training experience of a camp that we've ever experienced. And I was like, wow, thank you. And that's exactly what I'm trying to strive for. Holistic, right? It's not just trying to make you better on a dirt bike. We're trying to make you just level up as a human being in general. And when that happens, that bleeds through to every single thing that you do, including on the dirt bike, right? So you've got that community feel, even more so at this one, because we had more people, right? To where everybody's helping each other. You had some of the kids when the mindset sessions would end and the chairs are everywhere because everybody leaves, you got kids tucking in the chairs and helping the instructors and our staff with that. I mean, absolutely everything. This track too is an interesting one because it was very, very rutted. And so you saw that bring out the fear in a lot of the gray group and a lot of the blue group riders. And to watch them overcome the ruts specifically this week was a massive accomplishment. And I think that the stations that we set up were perfectly executed to where they can gain the confidence to then circle back and get back to the track. And then when they got back to the track, they were ready, they were confident and open-minded to try some new things to get through those ruts. Because Monday morning, when you do that practice session, very first thing, you've got a lot of people that are uneasy. And you saw a gray group and what they looked like that very first session on Monday before any instruction. It's like, this is going to be a long week. Yeah. But most of it is just because they don't believe in themselves and they don't have a plan of attack to get through the ruts. So ruts in specific were one thing that were like a giant topic of conversation this week, physically and mentally how to attack them as well. And jumps, because this track had a bunch of big jumps. And there was a lot of them that were in people's heads. And we had, so like the big step up, for example, the amount of people that we got over the big step up this week was absurd.
It was so
Oh,
great. And you know what's cool,
safely
man?
too, by the way. It wasn't like,
Yeah, no, for
you can do
sure.
it. You can do it. It was very
Yeah.
calculated, but we probably got
Yes.
40 to 50 riders over that big step up that weren't doing it
That
before.
were so afraid of it. And what was really cool for me, and you may feel like this or I felt like this earlier on and now it's just normal for you, but being able to like, because I've been there, dude. I've been the 85 kid that is looking at jumps like that, that is like, oh my gosh, how am I ever gonna, I have to go so fast. I don't know how much throttle, and being able to use like anecdotes like and break it down with them, and like working with Allie, for example, and she was really scared. And then Charlie on the Husky was really scared. I'm like, guys, listen, if you look at jumps like this and break them down into like their different like sectors, it makes it a lot more digestible. You're looking at this big, huge face. I got that. I'm like, take that out of the equation. Look at just the tip of the takeoff to the tip of the landing. How big would you say that is? And they're like, oh, probably like 25, 30 feet. I'm like, exactly. I'm like, you guys have done those jumps, right? I'm like, there's a couple here that you're doing that you're not even thinking about.
Mm.
And most of the speed that you need to do that jump that's where scaring you, that's just to get up the dang hill. That's all you're doing is just going fast to get up the hill. But the 20 to 30-foot jump, you guys are doing that no problem. And you're not even going that high because it's a step up. You're look at how low to the or how close to the ground AJ's wheels are when he does it. AJ barely has time to even make an adjustment on his handlebar because it jumps over so quick, So
That's a
breaking it,
great way to put it, because that jump
yeah,
specifically, the intimidation factor was
the
the
face.
scale of the lead up to the face.
Exactly. And I
That
was
had
able to, I'm
nothing to
like,
do with the actual jump.
and I just went through that at Cycle Ranch, dude. Cycle Ranch has that's like 3 times that size. And I'm sitting there going, nope. I just got this brand new Achilles. I ain't doing that. But then I'm like, if I look at it, I'm like, oh, tip to tip, dude. David, you coast over jumps like that coming into corners.
Yeah.
I'm like, you probably
Yeah.
just need a crap ton of speed around this sweeper to get up that big hill, on this big 450 with your big butt. So like being able to use these anecdotes and like level with them and be like, oh yeah, I had that same problem at 85. Let me show you what I do for starts to lock in, and like it's just stuff like that, man. It just really was so cool to be able to help them get to that point. And again, credit to the coaches because you guys gave them the tools and the know-how and the and stuff like that. But being able just to be like a fraction of a of help to you guys, that was a really cool aspect, man, to be able to like use that knowledge that I had or like that shared experience to kind of give them my 2 cents, and I really love doing starts with Ty, man. You see how so many people, the minis have a really bad habit of when they launch, they immediately put their feet up or they go to the side and then like they're going all over the place. So helping some kids like, hey, we're going to use these tree trunks that we have, these legs, we're going to use our calves to lock into the foot pegs, and we're going to put our head position this way and our chest like this. And once they finally got it, I even went down the line and I'm like, I'm going to try to push you off the bike. Look how I can move you wherever I want you to. And they're laughing, having a good time. And I'm like, now I want you to lock in like me and Coach Ty are saying. I'm like, do you see how I can't move you? Like that's what we're looking for. And like, I could strap a rocket to you right now and that thing, you're not going to go anywhere. You're going to stay centered on that thing. And once it started clicking for those guys and like, really making sense, it was really cool, man. And I know you've probably experienced this a lot, but for me and some of the other guys, man, that was a really special thing to see, like that connection and how we could apply some of our mishaps and our, hey, don't do this because this is what it ended up like for me and I want you to avoid it. That was really cool to offer, man. I had a really good time doing that stuff.
Oh, just so rewarding. Yeah.
Yeah.
I worked, what's cool is when the riders are doing their purposeful practice motos, which is basically, their open practice, but we retitle it so that there's some intention behind it. That's also their moment to come grab a coach if they want and to work a section one-on-one if they need some extra one-on-one help. So on Friday, I got a chance to bounce around and do that with a couple of guys. So I got Greg, 62 years old. He's riding a KTM free ride electric bike. And he's tall too. Greg's probably, he's got to be 6'3", 6'4". And getting him comfortable in some deeper ruts, he was having an issue where he was riding up and out of the rut, right? So I started to get him practicing using the front brake to keep that front tire in. He had some breakthrough moments, even on Friday, last minute, last session of the week, having some breakthrough moments. And then Berg, who was I want to say Berg was in Orange Group, if I had to guess. He was one of the kids who had the amazing questions, sitting front row all throughout the week, 194 in the KTM. We actually worked the big step up and getting the inside after the big step up. So, and I was able to, I saw very few riders do that all week long. And we were able to, on that 85, get a double downshift from 4th to 2nd in the air, which he had never done a double downshift in the air, and make the tight inside after that step up without even having to hit the brakes. So just between the downshift and nailing the landing perfectly, he was able to just go right to that inside and not even hit the brakes. So he had some breakthrough moments and some aha moments on Friday too. Yeah, just rewarding every step of the way.
Yeah.
It really is. And then we do the raffle. This is what you missed on Friday. We do the raffle. So all week long, riders are earning their golden stars, right? And we, so riders' helmets are filling up with these golden stars, which on Friday you exchange those golden stars for your raffle tickets, right? All week long, we're also putting out a bunch of different apparel, and people are buying apparel all week long to earn, for $1 spent, you're earning a raffle ticket as well. So people are just trying to hoard these raffle tickets, get as many as they can for their shot to win on Friday. And on Friday, we gave away, I had a brand new Fox helmet that we gave away. Jordan gave away a brand new Leatt helmet signed by the entire team, some 100% goggles, a whole bunch of 100% hats and t-shirts, Cardo system we gave away, Phoenix handlebars and Custom Moto Academy crossbar pad we gave away, some other signed gear, and then we did a VIP tour ticket. And then the grand prize was $1,000 free summer camp for 2026. So I pick a winner for the summer camp, and then the crowd just, one more. They start chanting. This is exactly, by the way, what happened at Winchester. And I go, gosh darn it. All right. I am wealth. Here we go. Pulling another one.
Just so peer pressured by a bunch of 85 riders into spending thousands of dollars.
Go in, grab another raffle ticket for another free summer camp. So here goes another $1,000. Give it away. Now everybody's pissed because all of the numbers on the raffle tickets have started with a 5, every single one. So they're like, how come they've all started with a 5? I'm like, gosh darn it. I'm going to keep picking until I find one without a 5. So I end up picking 4 winners for free summer camps. Again,
who were they?
Totally unauthorized. I don't remember their first names. Obviously you would recognize them, but, 4, not that I didn't like anybody that was there, but 4 people I would absolutely love to have back. And, 4 people also that drove, I think, from all pretty far away. So completely unauthorized, 4 free summer camps, $4,000 in value, just gave them away. But everybody was so pumped. And even Allie, because she showed up and watched the tail end of that and then got to see us saying bye to everybody. And even Allie was shocked by the gratitude and how the energy level, I guess, the vibe of the entire, just everybody there.
Yeah.
It's very, again, the tour dates, single day classes are epic. It's what has built this business.
Yes.
You can learn so much.
You can.
I pour my heart and soul into those single day classes. So you're getting a ton out of them, smaller group sizes. But you become family in 5 days.
Yeah.
Of doing something that trying to conquer a dangerous activity and do it safely together as a unit and as a team. You feel like you're family by the time you leave there. Yeah. And Allie goes, AJ, this is powerful. And because as she was watching everybody say bye and drive away, also every single one of them had a Moto Academy shirt or hat on, So she's like, not only are those people that are now going to be wearing your brand, those are people that are going to be wearing your brand that are diehard. They're going to talk about this week for a long time. Yes. They're going to talk about this week with some serious passion. So it's not like the single day class where somebody goes, how was it? Yeah, it was great. Loved it. Yep. This is like, whoa, hang on. Let me tell you about what we experienced in this 5 days, because they won't, hopefully, they're not going to let their friends not show up next year type of thing.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And it just gets incredible. Me crazy excited because it is a ton of logistics to organize, and it is so much more than single day camps to organize. And even that is very difficult to do. That's why not many people do a tour for these training sessions, right?
Yeah.
But the week longs, extremely, extremely difficult. And the only reason we're able to do it is because we have a huge infrastructure of employees and a big team to be able to make the operation happen. So,
for sure. And on
shout out to the whole team.
Dude, yeah, the team was just doing great, man. I mean, like Ethan just crushing it with content, and you can like Ethan is like low key starting to become like a brand, dude. Like people are like glomming onto him, and like they have their own inside jokes with him, like some of the campers and stuff. It's cool that he's like becoming like a figure, you know, and I love that because the dude's
I
got a
like
great
his autograph.
personality.
Did you see him sign any autographs?
Yeah. It's pretty, dude. Dude's legit, man. And shout out to Callie Ryan, man, for like all that he was doing. And we had Brad and Alex that were crushing it with like a lot of the repairs, and even Brad's seminar on like for the new parents. I think that was really cool thing that you guys are offering to kind of get them, you know, up to snuff on some tips. And like the admin home base team guys were crushing it, the assistant coaches, and dude, I had so many freaking Coach Alessandro's really cool. I didn't know he was this cool. And man, Coach Mitchell, dude, if one more girl tells me that Coach Mitchell is cute, I'm gonna punch a baby, dude. Like, I'm like, dude, we're all decent looking guys, dude. Give me some credit, dude. I'm not ugly. Like, come on, dude. Tell me I'm cute. It was funny, dude. One camper, I'm not going to blow her out or anything, but she gave me a ranking of the hotness of all the coaches and all the TMA staff.
Oh my God.
I don't want to blow her out. Of
course. Who was number 2?
You were not even top 3, buddy. So I apologize, but I think our Italian stallion, the accent kind of got him the top spot. And then of course, Mitchell with that smile, and then Dave Drake's got the dark chocolate 3rd place. But
I'm also too old.
I did get but your personality is really amazing. I'm like, oh, thanks. I appreciate the 3rd spot, but like, I'd have more fun with you. Okay, cool. I
might as well just throw you on the ground and keep your down.
Exactly. But yeah, I think you were top 5. Don't worry, you were top 5. So
yeah, we had 5 people there. Top 5. So I got it.
But no, it was cool, man. We had it was a really, really, really good time, and I had fun. And yeah, I hope that hope we can go again, man. I hope we can get more of the team out, dude. I miss seeing driver Jamie and Jackson there, so I hope I can see those guys for the next one. And it was a really good time, man. I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of a really cool experience that I got a lot out of, and heck, I even learned some new tips from just listening to you and Coach Mitchell, and it was cool, man. Really, really good time. And you know what the kids really liked was watching Coach Mitchell, Coach Ty, Coach Ezra, all those guys ripping a moto. They really liked that because Mitchell was throwing it, dude. On that start, I was like, ooh, he's starting, because Mitch is not a very flashy rider. He's very technically sound.
Yeah.
And when he started getting loose and throwing it and doing some little turn downs, I'm like, ooh, he's having fun. So,
well, the one thing we mentioned briefly kind of as a joke on day 1, I think I mentioned it as a joke because I said we were going to do a coach's race. And then the word started to spread that there was going to be a coach's race. I think that's something that we need to do. I think that would be a fun little exhibition that people would like to watch. If it were like a 3-lap quick little race type of thing, because I'm wondering, I don't even know. I watched Ty a little bit. Ty looked really fast. Ty looked good on the bike.
Fast. Dude, I've been telling people for a long time. Ty is fast, dude. I was wondering, I'm like, who the heck is like railing these berms out here? I thought it was one of those the dudes that showed up early to test out their bikes, one of the pros. And now, dude, it's Coach Ty and some like borrowed KTM just freaking throwing down lap times. I was like, geez, dude, he's quick.
Yeah, he looked fast. Mitchell looked better than I've ever seen him look.
Mm-hmm.
And his technique has always been good, but he's just refined a few things with like his upper body and his elbow. He just looks, and he was starting to be more fluid. Like moving more, whipping more, scrubbing more. So Mitchell looked amazing on the bike. I'd be curious to see. I'm still faster than both of them. I've got to be, right? But Ty,
AJ, I love you. I don't know, dude. If you can get Mitch to feel comfortable, like, because I think Mitch likes to slow down to perfect that.
Right, Mitchell's like me.
Riding. Yeah, he's like very much like you. I think if you were to say like, Mitch, like, go out there and have some fun, daddy. He like AJ. I don't know, man. That'd be a good race between the two.
Because it's hard to get Mitchell to unlock speed. Kind of how it is for me. Ty's not that personality at all. Ty's like likes to be aggressive. He enjoys that type of thing.
Yes.
But we're all so different, I guess, in that way of kind of attacking the track. Like Mitchell has a lot of the similarities to me, but I have crazy experience. So
That's where
Mitchell
you
doesn't.
probably,
Mitchell started riding when he was 14. So that's where, and not to toot my own horn, but I just have more bike skill than both of them at the moment. Not to toot my own horn further, but I have
technical bike skill with like just knowing.
I have stupid amounts of bike skill. I think that's what makes me so cool as an instructor is like, I can do anything on the bike, you know, because when I was at Rocky Hill, 12 years old, that's what I was doing, like freestyle tricks for some reason, you know, goon riding, nose wheelies, whips, scrubs. Like it was basically a freestyle. It was like a freestyle exhibition when I should have been maybe doing motos, but it helped me develop just a crazy amount of bike skill. So I can kind of lean on that. I also have more experience than those guys riding random bikes. Mitchell's getting really good at that now too, but Ty now finally is like starting to understand the value in being able to be adaptable and ride other people's bikes in a safe way. But it'd be fun because all the students start talking about it. They're like, when is the coach race going to be? I'm like, oh, really? You want that to be a thing?
Alessandro would be, he's solid too, dude. His bike skill
Alessandro's very fast. He didn't want to ride though. He was only doing like, he was only riding on the turn track because he said he didn't have his insurance. I'm like, Alessandro, don't worry about that. You're fine. Go ride. Yeah, you're fine.
That would be cool.
Yeah, because that's the type of stuff too that brings that special wow factor. I remember I went to a basketball camp when I was like 8 years old, and I'll never forget that there was this one instructor that showed up that was talking to us about free throws. And so he's sitting there as he's doing this little lecture for 30 minutes and shooting the ball over and over and over and never missed a single shot the entire time. And I never forgot it. I'm 32 years old talking about it. I never forgot it. That gave that guy so much credibility to all the students. Like, whoa, how the heck? There's just something cool about that. Like instead of just having somebody tell you to, go do this, but when you can go out and demonstrate it and create the visual, and by the way, do it on their bike. It's just like, it's such a cool factor, and it just gives them the motivation, belief that they can do it. It's very cool.
Watching you take an 85 and like demonstrate the proper technique in an 85, that helps so much kids, man. So many kids, so many riders.
Yeah, because a lot of kids think that they're too big on their bike too. And I'm like, well, too big, and I'll show you. Like, I'm big on it, but the more you drop into an exaggerated version of the technique, you can fit.
That, or or my wheels are too little, or I don't have enough power, or stuff like that. And I watch you hop on there like 50 pounds heavier and do all of that stuff, and they're like, oh, okay. But it's also like the 4-minute mile, right? It's like now that I see it, I can also go do that now. But yeah, it was cool. But I'd love to see a coach race, man. It would validate
in a safe
lot
way, but it'd be really fun, and it would. We could do it in such a funny way where it could create bragging rights for the week, and it could be really fun. So we'll have to do that. Shout out Coach Mitchell, Coach Ty, Coach Alessandro, Coach Dave, Coach Premix Papa, Coach Ezra, Coach Austin. Shout out to Brad and local A class Alex that were doing mechanic stuff all week. It seemed like it was smooth sailing over there for those guys. Shout out Jordan, who was helping operate. And Jordan, what was really important about his position is that he's very much the lifeline back home to our team back home. So we've got Jackson and Heather and Scott. And hopefully I'm not forgetting another person. Britt is a huge factor doing the SMS stuff. Al. Wow, we have so many people. We had so many people at this camp, and I forgot Cohen. We have 6 people at least, probably still forgetting one, that weren't even there. So, and Jordan is the lifeline back home, which is a critical piece. So shout out Jordan. Who else did we have there with us? Shout out Phoenix Handlebars, Jason and Miles with us for the week. They were awesome.
Got to give a shout out for them, dude. They changed so many bars, and they were also like technical support for a lot of people as well that had any like questions on the right setup for them. They got so many people comfortable, and a lot of people I think really they were a huge benefit to have around. Plus Jason's he knows everybody, the stories this guy has. It just
he's smart about offering
such a great dude.
He's smart about providing value and not just trying to sell. So it's kind of how I operate, right? It's like he was having riders go to him to just, if they needed to adjust their handlebars forward and back, or adjust their levers into a better spot, he was helping them with that. Not just like, hey, you need to buy these, right? So that's what creates a customer that is, what's the word I'm looking for? Loyal. That creates a loyal customer, and because when you know that this person is just here to help. Edge Power Sports was there. We ended up buying a dirt bike, so Jordan ended up buying the KTM 300, which is cool. I think 5 or 6 or maybe 7 people bought bikes that week.
Nice.
Just to try to upgrade from what they were riding from Edge Power Sports, but they supplied us with bikes to ride throughout the week. They had support, so if people needed parts, so that was really helpful as well.
Yeah. Also, Miles and Jason gave us a bunch of bikes to ride. So I want to go on record saying thank you to Miles and Jason for pretty much giving us like factory level pit bikes. You know, like their Husky 450s were literally our pit bikes for the week. So we appreciate them for doing that, man. They were really generous with us.
Yeah. We had Ethan and Ryan on the 1s and 2s. They were operating the cameras all week. So those guys have really got it down to a science, like getting the film study ready in time, getting that footage up. A few things that come to mind as far as improvements, like next class will be certainly 100% live streaming our film studies using OBS. So that way people in our live streams can see. Okay. Instead of just looking at a glare on a TV, that should be a no-brainer. That would be something we implement next time. Changing the schedule a little bit to get out of there an hour earlier will definitely be important. What the heck else? There was one other big thing.
I think a couple more radios and pit vehicles would be helpful too. So that, because we were walking, dude, it was tough, especially for the coaches that flew in. We didn't have any way of getting there. So it was like, guys, go over there. I'll be there in 15 minutes when once I start walking out, you know? And like
even maybe having a team side by side or something that we can have on as
and somebody just drops us off at each station. That would be super helpful. But I thought it went really I thought it went pretty well, man. Really, hats off to the whole staff. You guys allowing us just to be there to come hang out and help out. Really appreciate you guys for that. It was really, really a good time.
Yep. Oh, Heather back home. Did I mention Heather yet?
Yeah.
Holy crap. How many employees do I keep saying 10, but definitely have way more than 10 now. Okay. I got so much work to do. It's insane. Hour and 47 minutes in. Shout out Moto Academy Podcast, episode 150. We've done it. Thanks, Dave. Thanks,
everybody.
Toodles.